In today's prenatal workout, we will be working on mobility strategies. So mobility is a little different to stretching in that mobility challenges the joint, but at the same time we're challenging the joint to be more mobile while also working on some active strength drills. So it's a really nice way to build control while also preparing you to have more flexibility. We'll start on the mat for this one. So your option to start is have your hands behind you, your feet wider than the mat, and you're going to drop your knees to one side, back to center, swap to the other, back to center. I'll give you the view from the front as well. So feet are wider than the mat, both knees drop to one side, come back up, over to the other, come back up. You're going to keep that going. Now, if this is feeling comfortable, once you've switched onto the 90-90 on one side, you might sit yourself up tall, lean back to switch, sit tall for 90-90, lean back to switch, sit tall for 90-90, lean back to switch, sit tall for 90-90. As that starts to feel comfortable, you can either use one hand or use no hands. So we're just trying to get those hips warmed up. If this is uncomfortable for you and you're getting a lot of cramping through the front of the hip, roll up your mat and sit on your mat rolled up. It will be a little bit more comfortable for you. All right, coming into your 90-90 position. So here we're going to do a series of leans. So the first lean that I want you to do is across your side body, which is going to elongate through our side body on the opposite side. So I've got my left leg in front and I'm leaning across to the left-hand side of my body, giving myself a nice big stretch through the right side of my body. Sitting yourself back up. This time use your hands to frame your knee and then walk your hands out in front. Now you're trying to lean over your front knee. Make sure you're not holding your breath. Walk yourself back. Next, we're going to frame your shin. Walk yourself forward. And then the last one is to frame your foot and walk yourself forward from there. This one's always the hardest. All right, pushing yourself back up. You're going to switch over to the other side. And we're going to repeat the same thing. So first coming over the side body. Framing the knee. Coming back up, framing the shin. Coming back up. And the last one we're going to do is framing the foot. Oh, and trying to lean over that foot. Try not to hold on to your breath here. Each time you breathe out, you want to allow your body to soften into the stretch a little bit further. Coming back up. Switch back over to the other side. Straighten your back leg out. And here we're in pigeon. So with pigeon, you can either situate on the hip of the front leg. So that's a little bit easier. You might want to start there. If you've got the mobility to, square your hips up to the ground. And that'll put you in a deeper position. So your option is to either be on the hip or to be square. Or if you're somewhere in between both, do it dynamically. So you can rock yourself from the hip, square your hips. On the left hip, square your hips. The other option with pigeon is to stay tall, which will stretch through the back leg's hip flexor. Or if you fold forwards, you're going to stretch through the front leg's glute. We're going to keep holding here. That's it, keep holding. Now, if you're like me and you want a little bit more stretch to wind up, bend your leg in towards your body and then add a twist. If this is too much, you're just laying in your normal pigeon or up in your hip flexor stretch. Let's swap sides. Switch. Back leg goes straight. Now you're either on your hip or you're square. Or if you want, you can rock it out. When you're still building your mobility up, the rocking version is quite nice because it allows you to move a little bit deeper down into the stretch. So this is the side that's a little bit stiffer for me, so I'll be moving into it a little slower. Always use that breath. Every time you're breathing out, you're trying to soften into the stretch a little bit more. All right, coming back to center. Oh, and just do a couple of knee rocks. All right, we're going to start to work on our hip, hamstring, and rib cage mobility. All right, coming into kneeling. Start in kneeling. Step our left leg forward. Or if you want to be opposite, you can do your right. So we've got left leg forward. We're going to drop our hips down to try to help us lengthen through the back hip. And then we're going to lift our left toes, press our weight back and fold at our hips to stretch through our hamstring. Place the foot down, bring the weight forward, drop through the back hip. And then tuck the toes under, lift the toes at the front on the left, stretch back. Here's the side view. So we're leaning forwards to stretch through that hip flexor. Then we tuck our back toes, lift our front toes, send our weight back. We're now going to start to add a little rotation onto that. So bring your weight forward. Lift, if you've got your left leg forward, lift your left arm into the sky for a nice big rotation. And then tuck your toes under on the right. Sit your hip back on the left, nice big forward fold. Coming forward into your hip flexor. Nice big rotation to open. And sitting back. You're welcome to stay with this option. I'm going to do the next phase, the next level up, if you want to join me. So instead of being on my knee now, I'm going into an active leg with that back leg, so it's no longer resting down. You might have also seen that instead of my heel being down here, I've lifted it. So I'm working on a little bit more foot and ankle control, hip and knee control. From here, I'm going to push out of my stance arm and add my rotation. And then I'm going to keep my back knee off the ground as I bend it, send my weight back. So I'm still leaning forward to get that hamstring stretch. Let's do one more like that. Bring the weight forward, keeping the knee lifted if you're choosing that option. Push up out of the shoulder. Nice big rotation through the thoracic. So if you're taking this option, you should be feeling those legs doing a little bit more work. So here we have mobility and strength all in the one exercise. Great, coming down, we're going to swap sides. So we're going to take the right leg forward this time. Keeping our back knee down to start, we're going to move our weight into the front. Trying to stretch through our back leg, which is now our left. Tuck our toes under on the left. Lift our toes on the right, sit ourselves back. Coming forward. Coming back. Coming forward, let's add the rotation this time. So I'm going to push out of my stance arm with my nice wide hand span. Twist through my torso, reaching up to the sky. And then I'm going to lift my right toes and send my weight back to stretch through my hammy and lengthen through my ribs. Lean forwards, nice big rotation. Lift through the toes. Stretch through the back of the leg. Lengthen through the thoracic. We've got two more. Choose your option if you want to go into an active back leg or keep it kneeling down. Push through the shoulder. Add your rotation. Press back into your hammy stretch. So back leg bends. Bringing that weight forward again. Push out of your stance arm. Add the rotation. Bend that back knee, lift the front toes, stretch through your hammy. All right, coming up into standing. From here, we're going to go into warrior pose. So we've got our left leg's facing to the side of our body. Our right leg is facing to the front of our body. We're going to bend into our front leg. We're going to lift through our heel, lower our heel, and add a nice big thoracic lateral flexion and extension. Coming back to center. Lean in, lift up, lower down, extend, and up. Lift, lower, extend, lean to the front, lift, lower, extend, 2 more, lean into the front, lift, lower, extend. Turn your left foot into the front, turn your right leg to the side. We've got the same on the right side. Lean in, lift, lower, extend, lean, lift, lower, extend, lean in, lift, lower, extend, lean in, lift, lower, extend, last one, lean in, lift, lower, extend. All right, we've got a little bit of balance and control work for the hips, knees and ankles coming up. And if we get a hold of that, we're going to add some upper body balance components onto it. So for this one, we're going to stand with, I'll go side on so you can see me better. Our front heel up and our back heel lifted. Legs are straight. So we're working through our balance systems here. Pull up through your pelvic floor and think tall out through the top of your body. So just have a play here. Your balance might wobble you from side to side. That's okay. Just go with it. All right, from here, we're going to fold at the hips and lengthen through the spine. Oh, over our front leg. Have a little fun with it. If you lose your balance, that's okay. Oh, save it, Liz. Then we're going to bend into our back leg and take our weight backwards. Straighten through. Tip at the hips, lengthen through the body. Come back up. Bend through the back leg. Lean back. And save it. One more. Straighten through the legs, fold forwards. Come back, find your center, bend the back leg, and lean back. Oh. Shake your legs out and swap sides. So feel free to laugh at yourself at this one. If your back leg's moving around or if you're having to drop those toes or your arms are waving around, that's all totally fine. We're working on lots of different balance systems here. And they'll help us keep our balance systems nicely attuned throughout pregnancy, because there'll be lots of postural changes in our body. So we want our body responding. We want all those small stabilizing muscles ready to help support us. Leaning forwards. Oh. Come back to standing. Bend your back knee. Oh, lean back. Fold forward. Bend through your back knee. Leaning back. Straighten through your back leg. Lean forward. Bend through your back knee. Leaning back. All right, shake those legs out. Okay, we're going to start similar position. Back foot heel is lifted. Front foot is flat this time. We're going to tip at the hips, keep the spine long. We're going to add a rotation. So we're going to rotate towards the leg that's down. Come back to center. Rotate away from it. Come back to center. So that leg that's on the ground should be working quite hard. You see I'm shaking, my arch of my foot's working really hard. I'm working on that tripod control we've been talking about, so keeping my weight centered between the base of my fifth, first, and the center of my heel. You might be starting to feel your hammies load up. Ooh, lost my balance. Ooh, swap sides. We've got 3 more on the other. So we're going to start with a tip. We're going to rotate towards the leg. Back to center. Rotate away from it. Back to center. Rotate towards it. Back to center. Rotate away. Oh, back to center. Save it. Oh, swap. One more. So I'm trying to use my rib cage to guide me here, and I'm only trying to go as far as I can control without losing my balance. Almost done, guys. Taking your feet out nice and wide, both feet facing forwards. Then you're going to tip at your hips and just start by swiveling your pelvis side to side. So as I twist, I'm turning my pelvis towards my opposite foot and then switching. So this biases different parts of my hamstrings and my hips. I'm then going to start to add a bow and arrow. And if that's comfortable, you can start to reach towards the opposite foot and then add rotation. So inhale as I sweep across the floor, exhale as I row. Inhale, I sweep across the floor, exhale, row. 2 more. Last one. Great job. Shake those legs out. My hammies and quads are starting to feel it. What about yours? Take those legs out wide. We've got lateral squats. So one leg will remain straight. You're going to pull up through the arches of your feet. Draw up through your pelvic floor. Lower down over one foot. Press up. Swap sides. That's it. Keep it going. Good work. We're almost at the end. If that's feeling comfortable and you want to start to work down into a lower depth, Get down as far as you comfortably can. Take your hands to the ground. And if you just release your toe on that side and allow your pelvis to rotate towards the leg that's long, that'll help you get down. Press back up. Come down as low as you can. Allow the opposite foot to lift, and then rotate your pelvis towards that direction a little bit. Return and up. Now, if this is too much, you can just stay with your normal lateral squats. If you want to challenge your mobility and your strength, you can join me. Come down as low as you can, hands onto the ground. Allow the other foot to lift. The heel on the bent leg can also lift and rotate you towards the long leg. Push up. Last one, coming down over the leg, hands down, swivel the opposite foot, and coming back up. Quick shake of the legs. We're just going to add a couple of rotations to those squats. So squatting over one leg, hand to the ground, rotate, come back up. Squatting down, hand towards the ground, and rotate. So lots of exercises today working on our hip, hamstring, and thoracic mobility today. Trying to lengthen and open up our bodies. So we want to be mobile, but we want to be strong.